Yeah. Boom to the hey, all you sports fans out there in the tubosphere, to you, the individual, as part of the collective. Welcome to Fast Track Sports Rack Highlights here on Talk Radio version of the OMSR. I am, as always, your brief but very concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. Always do a little voiceover intro show like this, let you know the clip order coming up, and the whys to wherefore. So as promised, I've been double timing it, trying to catch up on, especially record-wise, with the ball clubs in the major leagues. Alright, so this is going to be a baseline show, a lot to go through, parts 1 through 3, so pay attention, please. Part 1, Ron Zimmer's death, White Sox versus Dodgers. Giants and the Reds, Vogelsong's tune, sounding good. Part 2, Royals and the Cardinals, the A's rocking it, especially dude, I want to say Escardillo. You'll see that in the title. I don't have the name exactly correct here. I got a whole page of notes worth. Yankees talked about. And then in part 3, Angels and Astros. Angels got a good record going on. Toronto and Detroit, the battle of the Cabreras. Boston, Cleveland, Manziel trying to bring out the crowd, but it didn't necessarily work out. And also you got Baltimore, Texas, Seattle, Atlanta. Part 3, you get most of your highlights, but they're in shorter snippets. Oh, thank you. Great timing there. Quickie Sport Rant of the segment is going to be about personal anecdotes. Forgot about Ron Zimmer, but you always pay attention to the World Series. Like that. And hello, Toronto. The fans need to start filling up that dome because they are still kicking ass. In the meantime, roll clips.
I'll say this for the Yankees, too. They've lost 4 straight times season high, so they have not played well against a good team. So credit to Oakland winning on the road, and you can see right now they're way behind. It's 5.5-game lead. Speaking of, the Angels are facing the Astros. Mike Trout's out. The re-aggravated back injury, but Garrett Richards was put the team on his back. He was impressive.
And Eric, you saw him a lot in American League West. Stuff-wise, this is their best pitcher. 95 in sync with the slider. I mean, this guy has impressive stuff.
And nothing straight. I mean, the fastball's cutting and sinking mid-90s, but I also like the breaking ball. It's so hard. He throws it so hard and breaks so late. It's tough not to do that right there, a little check swing.
We'll see his at bat here against Chris Carter. 3 straight swings and misses.
Granted, Carter can do that a lot, but what I love about Richards, too, is that he's got the cut it, he'll throw a two-seamer, and as Wedger was saying, too, that breaking ball, his curveball shape comes in at slider velocity.
Struck out the side with 9 pitches, and the later strikes at George Springer. You see, he almost hit Singleton. Singleton sucked.
Welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah. You know, then he goes that breaking ball away there. I mean, Singleton's going to see more and more of that. He's not going to just go up here and be allowed to break. They're going to stand him up from time to time.
Bottom of the 6th, Richards' pitch will hit Springer in the thigh. That's one way to get on base. And later in the inning, 1-on-2 away, Singleton will ground out. The Angels win at 4-0.
Not very many comfortable at bats right there for the Houston Astros off of Mr. Richards.
Couldn't muster up any offense against him as he was excellent for the Angels in this one. That's clearly all that they needed. 4-0 is the finals. They blanked the Astros. Just 4 hits mustered by Houston overall in this one. It's a nice victory there for L.A. Moving on, the Blue Jays and the Tigers. The rest of the story from the AL East and Central. A couple of division leaders here. Jays have won 9 of 10 on the road. Top of the first, Rick Porcel leading it right over the plate. Melky Cabrera makes him pay.
And you have Reyes, you got Cabrera, you got Encarnacion, you got Bautista. Solid hitters. They're making adjustments. They're going the other way, but when they get the cookie down the middle, they hit it out the ballpark.
Speaking of cookies and Cabrera, that's Miguel Cabrera, 11th home run.
He likes cookies.
No doubt
of
about
all
that.
kinds.
Yes. Game tied at 1. Nice celebration. Bottom of 3, 2-way Tigers at 2-1. Torrey Hunter into right. Jose Bautista. It's a nice catch.
Not at home plate, but in right field, too. And you see him do that. He's not afraid to get dirty out there and dive. I like that going out there.
How about the roll, too, to make sure he doesn't come down, put all that pressure on his wrist or his forearm.
That's a Web Gem nominee. Top of 8, Jays at 3-2. Melky Cabrera fades it to left. Jose Reyes motoring from second. The throw's not going to be in time.
You just don't see anybody throw anybody out anymore. But I tell you what, you see Cabrera hit the long ball early and just tapping it that way the other way. He's a solid hitter.
Should we get off your lawn, too, Gary?
Nice, yes. Top of the night, Jason 6'2". Batista keeps it clear. He's got 43 RBI as the Jays win this one 8-2, and they continue to rake. All of the first 5 spots in the batting order rank in the top 5 in the AL in OPS for that spot, on base plus slugging, and there's no more fearsome 3, 4, 5 in baseball right now. Very smart. Meantime, Johnny Manziel on hand for the Red Sox and the Indians. He's apparently asking for some money. Corey Kluber pitched well.
Breaking ball, and then he comes down in the end. I mean, he's able to go both sides of the plate with all of his pitches and a lot of confidence with this breaking ball in particular.
He blows the fastball past David Ortiz. Later in the at-bat, Poppy with 2 strikes. See ya.
But he didn't get by him that time. I mean, he tried to climb a little bit, left it down just enough where Big Poppy could get to it.
Red Sox at 2-1 as he admired that shot. Bottom of 6, game tied at 2. David Murphy faced it to right center. 2 more score. Indians up 4-2.
That's a great job by Murph. 1-2 breaking ball. Make contact. In an era, the strikeouts are high. With 2 strikes, try to make contact, something will happen.
Top of 7, Red Sox down 4-2, and it's Brock Holt.
Brock Holt.
Facing up the middle, 2 players will come in to score. Seesaw fair. Brock Holt's at 325 right now. He's been great for them.
That guy was essentially a throw-in in a trade, just an afterthought, has become essential for them, for their offense this year.
4-4 right now in the top of the 8th in Cleveland. We'll keep you updated on what goes down in this one. And the rest of the AL East story, the Orioles are facing the Rangers, and Adrian Beltre had himself a game for Ron Washington. Bottom of the first, Rangers down 1-0. 1 on, 2 outs. Beltre off of Bud Norris, and this bunt's for you.
Well, for a right-handed hitter, he can stay back, use that back leg, and drive the ball the other way as good as anybody. He knows that ballpark, and he knows how to utilize right field.
Bottom of the 5th, Beltre, 8th home run, 2nd of the game. We're tied at 5.
And I still remember when Beltre came up, Sean Green in batting practice told him, start driving the ball the other way in batting practice. It's going to help you during games. It's paying off.
Nick Markakis up. Nick Martinez all nicked up for his 4th home run. Nick at night. Game tied at 2. 3 batters later, Adam Jones off Luis Sardinas. Manny Machado scores. Baltimore leads at 3-2.
I tell you, I still believe in this Baltimore Royal ball club. Machado's starting to heat up. I mean, they've stayed fairly healthy. I think they have to put up one of the best lineups in baseball, especially if they get this young man going.
Off for Martinez, it'll be Chris Davis. Just his 8th home run of the year after hitting 53 a season ago. Orioles lead at 5-2. They go on to win this one 6-5. And Eric Wedge, Alex Corey, and Keith Law as we continue with Mike Minor and the Braves hosting the Mariners in an interleague battle. Minor picked strong for the Braves on Wednesday.
Well, for Minor to be back to them, obviously, they're right there in the mix, and for him to be able to come out and pitch every 5th day and throw that breaking ball like he is, and then mix that fastball, it's going to help them a great deal.
Did make one mistake. Cole Gillespie base at the left. Robinson Cano scores. Minor's 7 innings, 1 run, 10 Ks. Seattle's up 1-0, and Hisashi Iwakuma went right after Brave slugger Freddie Freeman. Gets him swinging in the 1st, then in the 3rd, swinging again.
Well, that splitting forces them to be honest. And Kuma was top 3 in the Cy Young voting for a reason last year because he's able to keep these guys off balance, and he executes the game plan as good as anybody in the league.
Freeman struck out 3 times against him. Bottom of 7, Iwakuma against Chris Johnson. 4-6-3 double play, 7 explosive.
Story 88-89, and guys are swinging through it. They're taking defensive hacks at it. It's where 95 shows you the value of having an off-speed pitch like a changeup or a splitter like that.
Mariners have now won 5 straight games. That ties
All right, so you got some interesting records going on.
Iwakuma 0-2.
No, here, a lot of parity going on this time of year. Nobody really sucking dirt too badly.
Lost this season. 3.4 runs per game is what they're averaging. That's the 2nd worst in baseball.
We had a tough time figuring out their starter. Guy was only throwing 87, 88 miles an hour, but he sure looked like he was throwing a lot harder with that. I think I know he had movement, and I think some of the deception, but we didn't really score up too many balls against him.
Freddie Gonzalez explaining the issues this team has had. Let's take a look at expert analysis brought to you by Ace Hardware. While Iwakuma might have missed the 1st month, we shouldn't forget about him. Since the start of last season, it's hard not to call him a top 5 starter in the AL. Ranks 3rd in innings per start, 3rd in ERA, 4th in strikeout to walk ratio, and 5th in wins above replacement.
All right. Some good stuff going on there. I misspoke. Don Zimmer. Now recall the World Series. The Yankees were always in the midst of, in the middle 90s. That dude was always to the left, Joe Torre's right, but our left on the TV screen, when they always went to the dugout to give a shot of the managers. Between play, you know how baseball is, there's always cutoffs, and if you had to write baseball the way all the camera angles change in the game, you would end up with a 300-page script. But that was him. He seemed to enjoy his tobacco quite a bit, I remember as well. And then as far as Toronto goes, doing quite well without Escandardito. Sorry, a lot of times I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrect, but he has been the face of Toronto, except on this profile in Week 10, who had nothing to do with their win. And you look at the Toronto's home games, especially if it's a night game, pretty big-ass stadium / dome in the major leagues, one of the largest, I submit, or suggest to you. When are more baseball fans going to come out? Although I will say, a lot of these highlights, I've noticed more this year than on last year's, to say like at this time, week 9, 10, or however many weeks I did profiles on, updates as far as the records go, to show or profile who is going to get into the playoffs, because it's a much smaller fraternity in the major league than any of your other professional sports. And the stadiums seem to be a little bit more full this year. I don't know what's going on. It's an interesting trend to take note of. All the video highlights courtesy to MLB vis-a-vis ESPN and Baseball Tonight. By the way, you may have seen that graphic, 25 years. It's one of their original shows since ESPN launched. Faces may have changed, but the concept remains the same. Gotta love that alliteration. Everything else, to the OMSR. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching those silly DUIs while you're out there celebrating the finals. We are later out of here.